Thanks so much for taking time out. To begin with, tell us a little bit more about this plan to launch the new game publishing division. How revenue accretive do you believe that this is actually going to be?
Nazara Publishing, which is a new initiative of Nazara, is basically meant for the game developers who are trying to bring high quality games across platforms such as mobile, PC, even new technologies such as Web3 and VR. These developers usually require some assistance, one in terms of capital, but also assistance along, game design, quality assurance, user acquisition, and general mentorship. So I think there's been a kind of a lack of a platform that can provide this kind of support to developers, especially in India. And I think that's where Nazara is stepping in with investments of at least 1 crore for each developer. And we're hoping that in the next 18 months, we will at least back 20 developers on this front.
So what about the overall investment in this platform? Has that been decided, and how is it that you're going to help, and how is it going to be lucrative for developers?
We haven't allocated a specific amount towards this. It's going to be off our balance sheet. And as you know, that Nazara is quite well capitalized. So depending on the momentum and the opportunities that we get, the amount of investments can be significant. We really do believe that there is huge opportunity in this publishing initiative going forward. And both Indian developers as well as global developers can benefit from it. Again, to explain what we will be providing, one is capital to these developers, but in addition to that, we will help them with game design, with distribution, user acquisition, quality assurance, localization. So I think everything that's required to make a game successful, a good quality game successful, is what we are bringing to the table.
So Nitish, I assume that this is part of the plan where recently the Singapore subsidiary of Nodwin Gaming acquired the full control of game marketing agency PublishMe. So how do you really plan to grow this segment?
Yes, of course. So, a part of the publishing is going to be how do you effectively market the games to the users? So that is a big challenge that developers face. And both Nodwin Gaming along with the Publish Me division will definitely play a very active role in kind of solving this part of the puzzle.
Right, and in light of the fact that you've recently invested in Israel-based game developer Snacks Games via the wholly owned subsidiary in Singapore, has it been impacted due to the ongoing conflict?
Yes, of course, the conflict itself is unfortunate, but the developer continues to, work on its game. We're in fact hoping to launch it very soon in November itself as the first game that Nazara Publishing will bring out to the market. So I think we are working very closely with them and quite excited with the product as it's turning out.
What about the outlook for Nodwin Gaming, Nitish? What kind of tailwinds are you seeing?
So, the esports with some popular games coming back has started showing very good traction. In recent times, we had some very successful events, including BGIS and the Battleground Master Series that was aired on Star Sports. We've seen very good response, and I think for Nodwin and the esports business, the rest of the year, which is especially now that we're entering Q3, Q4, shall be very exciting for us, I think.
You have had marquee investors on board, the likes of the late Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Very recently, Nikhil Kamath as well spoke about increasing his stake in the company. What does it mean for Nazara to have these marquee investors on board? How are you looking to leverage Nikhil's expertise?
Sure. We've been always very fortunate to get marquee investors who've also gone on to become, mentors for us and have, guided us very well. I had that fortune to, interact a lot with Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, and now with Nikhil Kamath coming in, I also hope that we will learn a lot from their success story, how they have approached business, and we have started interacting quite closely with Nikhil, and hopefully that will help us on our journey.
Right, and what's the outlook when it comes to long-term M&A opportunities? What's on the cards?
We have raised significant capital today. Nazara has a cash uh, balance of almost INR 800 crores, as well as our subsidiaries have significant cash. So I think we are very well placed to kind of deploy this money into good investments, good M&A activities. We are particularly negotiating with many game developers that we think have scale of revenue, profitability, and more importantly, very strong core gaming IP, as we like to call it. So I think in the coming months, you will definitely see us, take steps towards more investments in this space. Also, I think the market is offering good valuations, good opportunities where we can, create a lot of value. So that's what my team is very focused on.
Now, your real money gaming, segment, I know it's a small part of the total revenues, but understandably would have been impacted by the GST rulings. How do you see this segment growing?
Sure. So the online money gaming business is, today just 4% of our revenues and is, impacted due to the new GST taxation rules that came in from October 1st. But we expect that business to recover and stabilize in the next couple of months. I think more importantly, from a Nazara perspective, getting clarity on taxation was a very important thing. I think largely that has been achieved now. And therefore, we are looking at it as an opportunity to consolidate in the market. And we will continue to engage with other market players to see what can be done in the months to come.
So, what is the outlook on your overall financials? Do you have any projections that you want to run our viewers through? What's the message that you want to give?
Sure. As you know, we are in a silent period right now, awaiting our results on the 8th of November. So I will not be able to share a lot of light on financials, but we continue to be very optimistic.
Staying very tight-lipped, I understand. Okay, no worries there. But, what's the outlook when it comes to the gaming opportunity in India? You've always been very bullish at the forefront of it, really able to crystal gaze, if you will, when it comes to the gaming industry as a whole. So your advice for people who are looking to enter this space, those entrepreneurs who already have small businesses within the gaming sphere, what's your projection? What are the tailwinds? How do you see India participating in this story?
Look, I think the India gaming opportunity will continue to accelerate in the years to come. The tailwinds will continue to be very strong. And you are seeing a lot of ground level developer activity. Last year, the India Game Developer Conference, which is a marquee gaming conference that happens in India, homegrown conference, had almost 4,000 developers that participated. And this year, Nazara is a diamond sponsor of that conference, and we are expecting much larger turnout in terms of developers. So I think the bottom line is that the ground level activity and interest in getting into this business of small entrepreneurs who want to make it big is very large. And that's going to lead to an influx of a lot of content, a lot of exciting gaming content, which I think will further kind of spur the growth of this market. Also, the Make in India opportunity is very large. I think Indian game developers can actually go out and compete with the best and make very large businesses, especially if you're able to tackle markets like the US. You have already seen it in our own product like Europia, where Indian developer was able to go and compete with the best in that kids space. So I think all of these put together, you will see good growth. I think the gaming industry should continue to grow 20, 30, 40% year on year. And we are only getting started.
Well, good to know that you're very optimistic. And finally, then, given that you're one of the key players in the new age tech space, there's always been that criticism when it comes to hefty valuations. How would you like to counter that?
I think, valuation is a perspective you have to take from a long term and not a short term and look at the overall opportunity. Nazara, of course, has been a profitable business. So, a lot of the new age companies have kind of struggled with large losses, which we have, never done. So I think Nazara, of course, has a different perspective. But I think for any of these new age companies, you need to look at the, maybe 3 years, 5 years down, what can be the potential and see how they're executing towards it rather than just focusing on, the quarter to quarter results, in my view.
Nitish, good chatting with you as always. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining in. Time to take a very quick break right here on Startup Central. Don't go anywhere. We've got lots more lined up.